Well, good morning, and thank you for joining us in this session, Understanding Migration Governance in the Global South, a backlash in the host community from refugee guests to criminal identity, presented by Professor Katsi Mohammad Mabobo Rahman from the University of Dhaka, where he has had over 17 years of teaching and research background in the areas of policy, political science, and governance. He was a U.S. State Department SUSI Global Scholar 2023 when he worked at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst to understand the U.S. political system funded by the U.S. Department of State. Since 2019, he has been an associate editor of the Bangladesh Political Science Review. Professor Mabobo Rahman's CV is a lot longer, and we encourage you to see it if you're interested. But right now, I'm going to give the floor to Professor Mabobo Rahman.
Thank you so much. Daniel Gutierrez, the chair of the session. Is it correct spelling, pronunciation?
Yes,
okay?
That's great.
Okay. So it's great to see you here, and I'm really glad that I can speak here in this prestigious conference organized by the Policy Studies Organization, and it's one of the famous and leading policy science organization in the world. So this is a great conference, one of the great conference in the world, that International Criminology Conference. So the title of my today's presentation is Understanding Migration Governance in Global South. And the subtitle is a backlash in the host community from refugee guests to criminal identity. So now I would like to go through the research questions of my research that I'm presenting today. The research question is there are two research questions of this initiative. First is why and how have Bangladesh Rohingya camps been prone to criminal activities despite the host community's positive attitudes? And the second question is how can these criminalized Rohingya camps be governed? The purpose of my research initiative is to facilitate the understanding of how a national government govern refugees in the global south and why and how the migrants turn into a criminal identity despite the host positive's attitude towards the migrants. Additionally, I think the research contributes to framing a mechanism of how the migrants in the global south should be governed when they turn in a criminal identity formation. Rohingyas, one of the most persecuted minorities in the world, and they are living in Myanmar, the immediate neighbor of Bangladesh. And there are two wave of Rohingya migration in Bangladesh and from Myanmar. And first it was in 1980s. And the second, the largest displacement of Rohingya people in Myanmar who migrated to Bangladesh was in 2017. Due to the citizenship crisis for Rohingya people in 1982 Myanmar nationality law, Rohingyas had been displaced from Myanmar and they migrated from Myanmar to Bangladesh because Bangladesh is the immediate neighbor of Myanmar. This is the map that shows that the territorial location of Myanmar and Bangladesh, and the Cox's Bazar is very near to Rakhine State. Rakhine State is famous because there are so many ethnic groups living there. One of them is Rohingyas, and they are the most persecuted ethnic people in the world. This is the one of the scenery picture that shows the persecution, that shows the sufferings of Rohingya people, and they had been killed in Myanmar. They had been fired. They had been fired. They had been even their houses had been fired, and they had to migrate to Bangladesh for to save their lives. This is another picture that shows that how they migrated to their immediate neighboring country. It was really extremely miserable, and the suffering was huge for Rohingya people, and they can't live there, and that's why they have to migrate to another country. Many of them migrated to India. Some of them migrated to India. Some of them migrated to other Southeast Asian countries. Also, even in Middle East, the most um, uh, Rohingya peoples migrated to Bangladesh. And currently, almost more than almost 1.5 million people, Rohingya people, are living in Bangladesh, and it's too big. In the second half of the 20th century, politicians in Bangladesh did not welcome the migration of Rohingya community to Bangladesh. But in the 21st century, the perception to Rohingya people has been changed, and the migrated Rohingyas have been considered as refugee guests in Bangladesh. Uh, Currently, Bangladesh has been hosting almost 1 million Rohingyas. Bangladesh's ruling elite and opposition parties welcome the Rohingya community's migration, and the local people welcomed them and supplied privately foods and shelters to them at the beginning of the migration in 2017. The then Prime Minister in Bangladesh, that one of the statement, her statement that she said that if we can feed almost 160 million peoples, we can also we can also feed an additional 5 million to 7 million people at their times of distress. That if necessary, we will eat one meal a day and share another meal with these distressed people. After all, we are human beings and we stand for mankind. So the then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina welcome people Rohingya migrated people in Bangladesh, and the politicians, whether opposition and the ruling politicians and local people, welcome them at the beginning, and they supply foods and shelters in 2017. Now the scenario has changed, that the refugee guest is now considered as criminals, and Bangladesh governments, although the Bangladesh government successfully managed the Rohingya community's rehabilitation in various areas of Cox's districts, and the law enforcement agencies and the members of the defense force assisted in Rohingya rehabilitation. Currently, the scenario in the Rohingya camps is not satisfactory. The Rohingyas are currently considered as the criminals. There has been frequent allegation to the criminalized of the Rohingyas in these camps. The government and non-governmental agencies reports suggest that increasing criminalization records of Rohingya who migrated to Bangladesh This is the report, one of the reports that suggests that at least 11 rogue armed groups, including Myanmar Arakan Salvation Army, are actively engaged in refugee camps. They are allegedly engaged in drug trading, kidnapping, infighting, extortion, and rapes. According to a report by the Ministry of Defense, clashes between groups are often centered around drugs, extortion, and human trafficking. Scattered killings are happening. Arsha's presence and the devious activities of the other groups are posing a security risk, according to this report. This year, last 7 months, 43 Rohingyas have been killed in the camps. The killing was 132 from August 25, 2017 to December 31, 2022. Total cases filed against the Rohingyas between the 2017 to 2023, almost 3,223. But the figure was 2,438 in the first 5 years. But last years it has increased remarkably. Almost 1,000 cases have been increased during the last 5 years. And they are committed with 14 criminal offenses, including narcotics and arms smuggling, rape, abduction, and killing. This table shows the registered murder case in Rohingya camps since 2017 to 2021, 2022. In 2017, it was 8, but in 2022, it is almost 42 cases. In some report, it shows that 32 cases. So it is increasing day by day. In 2018, it was 15. In 2019, it was 22, but it reduces in 2020, 13 cases, murder cases. In 2021, and again, it has been doubled. It was 27. And 2020 it was again almost double, 42 cases. So it shows that the criminalization of Rohingya camps, that picture of the criminalization of Rohingya camps. This is one of the case study that in Nayapara camp there is 6 robbery rings. According to government report, 6 robbery rings are active in Nayapara camp, and the name of them are Chakma Robber Group, Nobi Hussain Robber Group, Hutia Robber Group, Jakir Robber Group, Salman Shah Robber Group, and Khalek Robber Group. So the picture shows that the criminal activities of Rohingya people in the camps has been increasing day by day. Although at the beginning they have been welcomed by the local people, but now it's a security threat for local people, even the people of Bangladesh in the large extent. I'm just sharing another scenario of rehabilitation of Rohingya people in Bhashanchar. The government has taken a new initiative to replace the Rohingya rehabilitation from Cox's Bazar, some of the Rohingya people's rehabilitation from Cox's Bazar to Bhashanchar. And in 2021, Bangladesh government successfully rehabilitated Rohingya in new place. However, the local community living on Hatia Island near the Hathi Island and the coastal belt of Noakhali are worried about their security because of this transfer. The politicians and government officials travel to the area to calm the fears of locals by saying surveillance activities will increase one of the Rohingyas once the Rohingyas are settled. For example, one of the politician that she's Asha Firdaus, the representative of local constituency. She stated that the local people should have no fear as the new center will be focused on helping the Rohingya to recover from their traumatic experiences. So after the displacement, after the rehabilitation of displaced Rohingya people in Bhasanchar, there has been another crisis of security, and also tensions and has been increased. So what is happening in the case of migration governance in global south, especially in Bangladesh? What are the challenges Bangladesh government is facing for due to the Rohingya camps for long time in Bangladesh? That means, I mean, since 2017, almost we passed more than 6 years, almost more than 6 years. So now we have to rethink about the Rohingya people and we should focus how we can make a good good governance to solve the Rohingya crisis in Cox's Bazar or in Bhasanchar in Bangladesh. As we know that there are three levels of governance, migration governance: national, regional, and global level. In case of Bangladesh, that Myanmar government is not the primary party. Myanmar government is not interested in rehabilitating Rohingyas in their home. The government of Bangladesh has tried to shelter for more than 6 years, but they are not interested to settle Rohingya migrants permanently, because it is not possible for Bangladesh government to do this. Bangladesh is also an overpopulated country, so we need Bangladesh government need another policy, a good policy to govern the migrants. And in this case, the government needs the assistance of global actors, especially in the United States, or regional actors, India, and also other regional Southeast Asian players, especially ASEAN and Indonesia, Malaysia. So the government of Bangladesh needs help from all of the parties, including Myanmar, to return them to their home country. And Rohingyas people are also interested to back to their home, but due to the comprehensive policy plan and the initiative of global actors, due to the absence of the initiative of global actors and absence of the of a positive policy of Myanmar authority, that the migration governance in global south, especially in Bangladesh, is in crisis. And as I said through the data that I have already substantiated through the data that Rohingyas are increasingly committing with criminal activities, and these criminal activities are increasingly creating some tensions at the local areas, especially where they are living in Bangladesh. So to overcome this great crisis that Bangladesh is suffering now, Bangladeshi people are not now suffering. There should be a comprehensive plan among the all parties. Especially the plan should be granted at the national level in Bangladesh, at the national level in Myanmar, and also at the regional level. The global actors can help to can initiate to help Bangladesh to get rid of this great crisis. As we know that Bangladesh is at the embryonic stage of formulating laws and policies related to national level migration to govern the forcibly displaced Rohingyas people from Myanmar to Bangladesh. But the global community can assist Bangladesh to overcome this problem. So now to efficiently govern Rohingyas in Cox's Bazar or in Bhasanchar, the immediate assistance should come from Myanmar authority, and they should take initiative to receive Rohingyas in their home country and to ensure shelter, security for the forcibly displaced people from Myanmar to Bangladesh. Otherwise, the crisis will increase and the tensions will increase, and that it will make a greater threat for Bangladeshi people. So finally, I would like to say that United Nations should come with this problem and should take initiative to solve this problem. International Organization, IOM, International Organization of Migration, should take initiative in this regard and help Bangladesh and Myanmar to solve these problems. Thank you everyone for listening me, and I'm welcoming all to for questions.
Thank you, Professor. We have a few questions and we have some minutes. The first question from Jay Wallace. Um, I suppose the question is, what can you tell us about how does it happen that the perception the Rohingya people has shifted in some ways in Bangladesh? What are some of the reasons for those shifts?
There are some reasons that has been mentioned by many research institutes, even some NGOs, those are working there. They think that the most important problem is the increased number of population, the birth rate of Rohingya people. They are even they're taking childrens more and more. So it is the number of Rohingya people is increasing every day, but they don't have sources of income. So in the camps, it is not possible to make available sources of income for all displaced migrant peoples. So it is very difficult because they are not citizens of Bangladesh. They are not that means they are displaced people, even not refugees. So the Bangladesh government think they are displaced people. So for these displaced people, there is no ways to make great to make available sources of income. So it's great problem. Another problem is that the militant organizations, they are gathering here. They are involved with criminal activities. They are recruiting Rohingya people, and they are using them. So since they are using these people with criminal activities, they are involving them with criminal activities. So it is very difficult to ensure security in a small camp where there are some militant groups are working.
Thank you. We have a question from Nikhil Chandranath. What kind of surveillance would be important to combat the criminal activities? I suppose that means within the refugee camps. Should it be more horizontal or vertical?
I think both, because I have mentioned in my presentation that Bangladesh government is not enough to solve this problem, because it is not created the government of Bangladesh or Bangladeshi people. It has been created by Myanmar. So without the resettlement of Rohingya people in Myanmar, it is very difficult to reduce the criminal activities of those displaced people that don't have enough jobs, enough sources of income. So they need food, they need shelter, they need enough space, but they don't have these things. So the most important ways, only one important ways is here, that we should convince Myanmar to return their people to their home, and with enough security, with enough shelters, then the Rohingya people can be interested to return to their home. So otherwise, it is very difficult, and it will be a great burden for Bangladesh government and Bangladeshi people.
Thank you.
And here I just would like to add that the international community has great responsibility to solve these problems, because it can be a regional problem after some days, because if Bangladesh may fail to solve this problem. So the regional hegemon, especially China, I miss to mention China in this presentation. China, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, United States, European Union, they should come with a great initiative to rehabilitate them in their home, not in Bangladesh.
Thank you. A question from Athena Stafila. Has Bangladesh signed the 1951 UN Refugee Convention? If not, why?
Mm, uh, as you know that the government of Bangladesh can reply to this question well, but my point is that uh, as a um, as a uh, as a country in global south, Bangladesh is facing many challenges. So it can come with all global agreements, I think, day by day. So it should have some preparation. Even it should have some financial capacities. So as you know, when we agree with some international commitments, we should do something. So in some cases, we can't still far away from these signing agreements, or but I think Bangladesh government are interested to sign in all international commitment, to welcome all international commitment, but still we have some limitations because of our financial and also other arrangements.
Thank you, Professor. We have some more questions, but I'm afraid that we've run out of time. So we will have to end this session. We remind you that all these sessions are being recorded and they will be posted in our website, open access, and we will let you know. So thank you, Professor, for joining us in this great presentation.
Just maybe I may in my presentation, this is the exact figure that here. So this is the figure. So if in any reference it can be used, but maybe in my presentation I may use wrong words in to mention the number of Rohingya people, maybe. So it's okay. But this figure is after 2017. So there are some problems in calculating the number of Rohingya people. So it may be almost 1 million, more than 1 million.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We hope to see you in the upcoming presentations. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for sharing this session. I hope I will meet you again in another session or another conferences.
Absolutely. Thank you, Professor. Have a good day.
Thank you.